Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this Sunday morning broadcast brought to you during Urban Agriculture Month. There's plenty of great things going on, and I've got the opportunity to take you on a little bit of a tour down at the Eltham Farmers Markets, and we're going to catch up with Nick Rose from Sustain, the Australian Food Network, who's out there on the ground. He's my roving reporter. But before we get underway, let us know where you are and where you're joining us from. At the moment, I'm sitting here in Mount Macedon in central Victoria, near the Macedon Ranges, and I can see that there's a few people coming on now. Good morning, Brenda. Hello, Ange. G'day, Scotty Ross. Welcome to you all. And so before I get underway, I'd just like to acknowledge that, as I said, I'm here in the Macedon Ranges on the Djadjawarrung, Tangerang and Wurundjeri Woi Wurrung people. I'd like to acknowledge that this is the country that I'm on, and that they are the custodians of this land and the Kulin Nation. So it's wonderful to be able to be here. A incredible country. I'm looking out onto the ranges over my shoulder here, and Nick is down there in Eltham. Let us know what country you are on, and we can share those with everyone. I'll just have a quick look. We've got, good morning, Costa. We're on the south side, Queensland, on Gold Coast. Karuna land here, Brenda. Yeah, Danielle, this is incredible country up here. Kingaroy is Waka Waka country. Thanks, Adam Greaves. I didn't know that one. That's one of the little details I love about this. Learning the new names and the custodians of different parts of the country. So we've got Surface Paradise, we've got Ange in Melbourne, Deb Drummond's joined us. So, all right, well, look, I will, so the thing we're talking about today, as Nick will explain, Northern Victoria, Mozzie country, Gundungurra land, KJ Sparkle, Robertson in the Southern Highlands, yeah, and Awabakal, that's up near Newcastle, and Wurundjeri, Lisa Guy. Welcome to everyone. All right, so I will bring Nick in now, and we're talking about the Urban Agriculture Month and the Sydney Urban Agriculture Forum, which is coming up. But Nick is also part of the the Community Gardens Australia, which had their conference yesterday down at Ceres, and Nick is on stage 2 of that, which is the garden tours, but he's going to tell us about that. So I'm going to bring Nick in. Here he is. Good morning, Nick. Oh, I haven't got any sound from Nick. Oh, I think I can hear you now, Nick. Hello. Oh, we've lost Nick. He was having a few problems. So we'll see how we go. Hang in there with us, everyone. Nick will be with us shortly. So Nick is from Sustain. Here he is. Yeah, we got you now, Nick.
Hello. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm really well, Costa. How are you?
Yeah, good. I've just done a little bit of an intro and set up the scene for where you are. But man on the ground out there, tell us what you're up to.
So we're here at the Eltham Farmers Market this morning. Crowds are pouring in, getting local food direct from the farmers. And we're here to promote the Banyule Urban Food Strategy. Sustain is working with the City of Banyule to develop its first ever urban food strategy to support residents and workers, business owners of Banyule to have access to great local, culturally accessible, affordable food, and strengthen the the food system in the face of the challenges we're facing. So we're here to get the views and perspectives of visitors to the farmers market about what they think should be in the food strategy. That's why we're here.
So this is all part of Urban Agriculture Month.
Yeah.
Where is Urban Agriculture Month in terms of events and what's being planned and how it's coming together? This is the second Urban Agriculture Month, isn't it?
That's right. So last year we did it first time in April 2021. We had 112 events around the country, which we were pretty happy with at that time. But this year, as of this morning, I think we're at about 183, 185 events right around the country with estimated participants maybe in excess of 25, 30,000 people. So everything from garden tours, farm tours, compost workshops, beekeeping workshops, farmers markets like today, and webinars and events like the Sydney Urban Agriculture Forum next week with the City of Sydney, bringing together some leading thinkers and practitioners to talk about the opportunities and the need to expand urban agriculture in Australia. So it's really exciting. It's had a fantastic response, and it's bigger and better than last year, and we're hoping to push beyond 200 events by the end of this month. Well beyond 200 events.
Wow, it's amazing to think that, you know, this month, or are you planning to keep the month, Urban Agriculture Month, in a given month, or are you going to shift it around like you have from April last year to November this year? What's your plan?
I think we'll stick with. I think we'll probably stick with November going forward. It's spring. It's a good time of year to be out in the garden. It's a good time to be doing workshops, learning, gathering, connecting. So yeah, the first one was really a bit of a delay from 2020 because we had the pandemic. We were going to do it in October 2020, but that was delayed because of the pandemic. So I think going forward, we'll stick with November so people can plan for it and start getting it into calendars early, and organise edible garden trails and, community garden gatherings, and as we were at yesterday in Ceres in Brunswick. So we get it in people's calendars early.
I've got a post here from Robin who said she had 35 people at a seed saving event yesterday in Port Hedland, my biggest ever in-person workshop.
Fantastic. That's amazing. Yeah, I was so pleased because I'm a Perth boy myself originally, and when Robin registered a couple of events in Port Hedland, I was just overjoyed to see that the reach had gone, to that far northwestern corner of the country. Fantastic, Robin, that you got that response, and that's really amazing. That's really wonderful to hear.
Felicity said, great to see Urban Agriculture Month growing and being embraced by communities. Really, 200 events, that's a really big start, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. When, we only really started talking about urban agriculture as a sector, as a field, only back in 2016 with the very first Urban Agriculture Forum at Melbourne University's Burnley campus. That was in November 2016. We had one of the lead people from RUAF, that's the Centre for Urban Agriculture and Food Security that works very closely with the Food and Agriculture Organisation of the United Nations, came out to talk about the global space of urban agriculture. And of course, urban agriculture has always been happening in Australia. We just haven't really talked about it like that, but we made a decision shortly after forming Sustain in 2016 to start, giving it that name, giving it that identity, having that broad umbrella term to really bring everybody inside a really big inclusive tent. All the community gardeners, all the school gardens, all the verge gardeners, the food forests, the mushrooms in shipping containers, the market gardeners, everybody together as part of a big sector which is global. And maybe not many people know this, but by some estimates, over 1 billion people globally are involved in these activities, and they're producing about 30% of the world's food, and a very large chunk of the healthy food, because so much of what people grow in towns and cities is healthy. It's fresh fruit and vegetables, and that makes a huge contribution to food security, particularly for disadvantaged populations. And that's one of the key messages of Urban Agriculture Month, and the work that we're doing is to raise that awareness and to build, to celebrate. This is a month about celebrating and acknowledging the tens, hundreds of thousands of Australians, millions of Australians really, who are doing this work, who have been for a long time, but to raise its profile and say, this needs to be expanded, this needs to be ramped up, because it's vital to face the challenges of climate emergency, mental ill health, dietary ill health, create habitats for species, for our pollinators, and for food security. Those are all reasons why urban agriculture is so important and so necessary to expand at this time.
1 billion people growing food, in an urban context, that's a massive proportion of the global population, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, that's huge, Costa. That's fully 1/8, over 15% of the world's population involved in growing, raising some of their own food, whether they're doing it as community gardeners do, just to for self-provisioning, or whether they're doing it in a small-scale commercial basis. It's a large chunk of the world's population that are connected with nature, connected with life in in one way or another, which is where we all need to be going, in my view.
Yeah, Camilla. Where is it? Yeah, Camilla Slater. This is fabulous. New Zealanders are starting to embrace this too.
Great. Yep. No, that's great. It's growing all around the world. We heard from Naomi Lacey, didn't we, at the community garden gathering yesterday in Brunswick, about just where this space can get to, as it has done in various cities around North America, around Europe, the places she visited, and the huge expansion of urban gardens and community gardens in so many places around the world. And I shared the news from Seoul in Korea, where the city of Seoul are committing over $200 million US dollars to build a workforce of 1 million urban farmers and bring 240 hectares into production by 2025, from rooftop farms to vertical farms to community gardens and neighborhood patches, and everything in between, because they can see it, they can see the need for it and the importance of it. Singapore, closer to home, has set a target of 30% domestic food production by 2030, similarly investing in building up a huge workforce of urban gardeners and community gardeners. So if these are countries near to us that are supporting this sector and building the capacity, then it's time for us to get on board in a big way.
I had an interesting little question here up on the screen from Lisa Guy. She said, why have you used the term urban agriculture rather than urban horticulture?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess the answer to that would be horticulture is really about vegetables and fruits, about plants, and agriculture is a more inclusive term that includes things like beekeeping, keeping chickens, small scale livestock. It's a broader inclusive term. So horticulture is certainly a huge part of it, but it's not the only. If we used horticulture, that would be a little bit limiting and exclude some of those other things that people are doing. Fungi culture, for example, the mushrooms.
Yeah. No, Lisa said thanks. That's a really clear explanation of that. Now, I just noticed here, Helen Reynolds, she said, I'm giving my second ever workshop on sustainable living and gardening at Lake Macquarie next Saturday. I didn't realise it was Urban Ag Month. I'll include this in my talk. And Helen, you should include What does Helen need to do to include her talk on the list?
She needs to go to urbanagriculturemonth.org.au and register as an event host. It's completely free and it takes a couple of minutes, and just put in a couple of details, you know, where the event's being held, a brief description of the event, start time, finish time, the dates, and the location, and then we can put it on the map. And then it's then it'll help us get to 200 events. So, you know, anybody who's organising a workshop or an event over the next month, really into early December, please do that, because the more events that are there, the bigger the message is about this sector, and you know, why it is such a great thing to be doing. Because if you do visit that website, you look at all the events that are happening, it's inspiring, it's enlivening, it's great to see you know, all the different things that people are doing to celebrate knowledge and capacity in their communities, to share their knowledge, to share their gardens, to share their food. It's a fantastic thing to be doing.
Robin asked, is there somewhere that information is written down for the other countries' stats, so that we can share that with our members to get them to petition our governments?
Yes, there is. There's an article that I wrote on the New Economy Journal Australia, NENA. They've just published that, which those stats that I gave you about Seoul, for example, and the FAO. That's on the NENA journal. I can share that link with you. Also, if anybody wants some facts and figures and stats, I just encourage them to get in touch with us. My email is nick@sustainaustralia.org. I can share you can go to our website, you can see the research we've just done in Victoria, the mapping of the urban agriculture sector in Melbourne, Bendigo, Ballarat and Geelong. So there's a whole lot of facts and figures and research about, you know, who's doing this, why are they doing it, what size are their operations, how many people are they employing, you know, where are they selling produce, what are they growing. All these things are there in that report. So you can download that from our website, and also you can download the Pandemic Gardening Survey, which of course you supported us with that, Costa, a couple of years ago to help us to get over 9,000 responses. And that was the views of people growing food during the pandemic and what it meant to them. And there's a huge treasure trove of facts and quotes and resources about just how much this matters to so many of us. So happy for anyone to contact me. I can give them, you know, some quick facts, and then on our website we've got those 2 reports that are a really great resource for anyone wanting to engage with their local governments or state government reps about this work.
Thanks, Nick. So yeah, that'll pop up on the. You can always put it in the comments here on this stream as well, so people can see it. And we've got Swamp, which is a wonderful community garden up on the Central Coast, who are going to be coming along to the Sydney event on next Friday. Tell us a little bit about that before you show us around.
Yeah, thanks, Costa. So this is the, I think it's the first Sydney Urban Agriculture Forum. I don't know if there's been one before or been one recently. We're co-hosting with the City of Sydney, which is fantastic. It's going to be in Sydney City Farm, right near the CBD. And it's in recognition of the fact that Sydney is a signatory to the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. That's a global urban food initiative led by local governments around the world, 250 signatories now to that pact, including the City of Melbourne and the City of Sydney. We're going to have Clarence Slocky from GWA Proprietary Limited talking about the fantastic work that he and his team have been doing at the First Nations rooftop farm in Everleigh. We're going to have Pocket City Farms talking about what they've been doing at the Bowling Green in Camperdown, Camperdown Commons for several years now in the inner west. We've got Lauren and Belinda from the City of Sydney talking about the various initiatives that the City of Sydney are supporting, including the Sydney City Farm. There'll be tours of the City Farm. And we've got Alex Greenwich MP, the independent MP for Sydney, who over the last year has chaired a really important inquiry into food security, food production and supply for New South Wales. That was in his role as the chair of the Committee on Environment and Planning of the New South Wales Legislative Council, the Upper House. This past week on Tuesday, they handed down their report, 115 pages. They had 77 written submissions from right across the food system in New South Wales. 44 witnesses gave testimony, and they've got 36 recommendations that are really far-reaching. And if they were implemented by the next New South Wales government, we'd see some big changes towards a fairer and more sustainable food system for New South Wales. Just quickly, the really top ones are that New South Wales should have a statewide food security and food systems plan. Never had that before. That would be enormous. And then a whole of system food system council with First Nations representation, culturally and linguistically diverse communities, community members, as well as government and others on that state council to guide the implementation of that plan. Those are 2 of 36 recommendations, but all of them are really, really relevant and would make a huge change. So I'd encourage, we'll put the link to that in the comments as well, but that's what Alex will be talking about at the forum next week. So if you want to find out more about this and what it means, if you're in Sydney or nearby, this is really, really important. If this matters to you, if community gardens matters to you, if sustainability matters, action on climate change through food systems, if any of these things matter to you, come along and be part of the conversation at Sydney City Farm next week. We'll have these speakers, and then we'll be workshopping with Serena Killam from Charles Sturt University on how we can actually take this forward as an action agenda to make some big changes for Sydney and for New South Wales.
Fantastic, Nick. That's it's going to be a great event. I'm really looking forward to it. So for anyone in and around Sydney, I'll have so all the details are in that tag there. I'll post those details in the comments now. Here's a copy of those details for anyone that wants to come along. If you're near Sydney, here we go. There's the link to the event in the comments now. So Nick, before you go, take us for a little bit of a walk around.
Yeah, so we're at the Eltham Farmers Market here out in outer eastern suburbs of Melbourne. Yeah, some great stalls. Small batch gin here. Some French style handcrafted, locally made pâtés and terrines, extra virgin olive oil. Ash from the kombucha, who's been very generous in giving the headphones. You know, you've got the sounds and sights of the market, some live music coming in. This is a really well-established farmers market in Melbourne, really well supported by the community, and the organisation that coordinates it is Local Food Connect. Can you see their little board there, Costa?
Oh yes.
Yeah, lovely capture of what they're about, and they've been connecting the local food economy and community in this part of Melbourne for many years. Got a great website, localfoodconnect.org.au, and you see there, it's a really nice graphic showing what local food system work is all about. With the education, climate action, biodiversity, there's seed banks, plastic free, community health and community strengthening. And this is these conversations, that's what we're doing right now with the City of Banyule, developing their urban food strategy, celebrating seasons, self-sufficiency, indigenous plants and crops, listening to soil and climates, and connecting to place. So yeah, that's what they're the organisation that has been coordinating this farmers market here in Eltham for several years. So yeah, that's a little quick tour. If anyone's in Melbourne and hasn't been, I'd certainly encourage you to come out here. It's a lovely place to be on a sunny spring Sunday morning.
I can see the sunlight over your shoulder. It looks like a picture perfect morning out there, Nick.
It is. It's a great morning. It's lovely. And you're off, Costa, to Central Victoria, is that right?
Yeah, I'm here in Mount Macedon. I'm having a conversation as part of the Mountain Riders Festival this morning in about 40 minutes with Hannah Maloney from Good Life Permaculture and Gardening Australia, and Jacinta Parsons. She'll be moderating, or not moderating, hosting the conversation between the three of us. So I'm really looking forward to that. There's going to be some great stuff coming out of today. There's a very solid environmental thread in the conversations about this Riders Festival, and it's a real privilege to be here.
Excellent. All right. Well, look, I hope you have a fantastic day, and sure it'll be a great conversation. Yeah, really looking forward to being in Sydney with you next Friday for the Sydney Urban Agriculture Forum.
Yeah, Nick, it's going to be great. I just saw Katrina McMillan. Katrina McMillan's going to be there next Friday. She's talking in this comment here, urban food strategy, the right to good food.
That's exactly right. Yeah, we heard about that yesterday, didn't we, from Pam Warhurst at Incredible Edible, Todmorden, about the Right to Grow Food bill, the campaign they're running in the UK right now to create that right for people. So yeah, that's exactly right. That's how we should be framing this. It's access to good food is a basic human right, not a privilege, and that's certainly our position as an organisation.
And finish off with Lisa's comment. So many great things happening. Very encouraging.
Exactly. Yeah. No. It's a happening space, and there's so much positivity and momentum, which is what this month is all about. It's a celebration, and building the foundation for a huge expansion of this space over the next 6-12 months and beyond.
Well, Nick, have a great day out there. Have a great day on the garden tours and the lovely community lunch as part of the Community Gardens Day 2 of the conference. And I will see you in Sydney next Friday.
Beautiful, Costa. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Nick.
All right. Have a good one.
See ya.
Bye now. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.
Well, there you go, everyone. Some wonderful things happening for Urban Agriculture Month this month. Check out all the details at Urban Agriculture Month, which I put in the tag earlier, urbanagriculturemonth.org.au. Thanks for joining in, and keep an eye out for those events. I'll be sharing different things across the month of November, and also if you're in Sydney the day before, next Thursday night, if you have time at Ryde Library, Angus Stewart and his daughter Emma are launching a book, Future Proof Your Garden, and I'm fortunate to be hosting that conversation with them, which is going to be fantastic. It's an amazing book. I've had a good look at it, and wow, it's an absolute ripper. Angus is doing great things and has been doing so much in that space, and all of his books are so pack-filled with information. And what a joy! Like as a parent, imagine that opportunity to write a book with your daughter. I think that's incredible. So, Mike Costa, my aquaponics trout would like to see you in Melbourne. Yes, Jonathan, direct message me. Thank you, Lisa. Thanks, Henry. Thanks, Lee. Thanks, everyone, for joining in. Have a great Sunday. See you, Matthew and Cindy and Margaret. Have a great Sunday, and I'll catch up with you during the week. Ciao for now.